We'd like to welcome you to the Southern Chief's office here in our boardroom, and it's on the Phoenix Sinclair issue, and of course there's been writings this past weekend in the Winnipeg Free Press and trying to speak to the public about what's been happening, but we'll turn everything over to our Grand Chief from the AMC, Mr. Nepinak, and then I will follow with some additional comments.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nepinak, Grand Chief of the Assembly of Manitoba Chiefs. I want to thank everybody for coming out and partaking in this important press release that we're going to start the week off with. Very concerned about developments that happened with respect to the HUGHES inquiry last week. On February 3rd, the Manitoba Government Employees Union signified their intent to challenge the validity and the jurisdiction of the commission appointed to conduct an inquiry into the death of Phoenix Sinclair. The filing of the court motion will have the effect of immediately suspending the work of the inquiry, which was scheduled to begin hearings on May 23rd, 2012. Now, the Assembly of Manitoba Chiefs has questioned the priorities of the child apprehension industry for some time. We've watched as our children have become commodities of exchange in an industry that is more focused on funding arrangements and protecting jobs rather than the rights of and protection of our children. Now, this latest maneuver by the Manitoba Government Employees Union makes it clear that the union is putting its own interests before those of the children of Manitoba. This tactic should concern all parents. You know, the protection of anonymity of workers is taking precedent over the very care and protection of the children that the workers are mandated to provide. Now, with particular respect to baby Phoenix, justice delayed results in justice denied. Now, if the Manitoba Government Employees Union is genuinely concerned that the province has drafted the terms of reference in such a way that the scope of the inquiry is outside the Commission's jurisdiction, we would be happy to meet with the province and the union and any of the other parties to this inquiry to assist the province in redrafting the terms so that the important work can proceed. Now, the important work we're referring to, obviously, is devolution. We are concerned that since this concept first began to be implemented in Manitoba, our communities have slowly lost control, direction, jurisdiction over what's happening with our children. The implementation of the creation of new corporate entities, the creation of new funding models in the province of Manitoba continues to undermine and strip away jurisdiction from our communities and our families with respect to the care and protection of children. This is just one example of wholesale and fundamentally systemic problems with child welfare in Manitoba. We want these matters addressed, and we want to get them addressed soon. We've initiated a meeting with Minister Howard, and we're hoping that she will accommodate our request to have a meeting to put these issues on the table and start dealing with the matters immediately. Thank you.
Thank you, Grand Chief, and we are also calling for an emergency meeting with the Premier to discuss devolution, to discuss how this whole system works. We do believe in the Southern First Nations. It is a solid tactic put up by the Manitoba, the MGEU, the union. And we need to get to the bottom of this and talk about how the system is going to work for our people and for our children. It's been 9 months now since the asking of how do we get to the bottom and who is to be held accountable and responsible for what has transpired. We are hoping that we can engage in discussions because everything in regards to devolution thus far has been done without our people sitting at the table. There has been funding dollars that have been exercised in this whole provincial system through the Southern Authority as well, and we have no say as to how those dollars are being used. We understand some of this money is to build capacity. What is it to build capacity to return some of these children back to our families, or is it capacity for the workers to take more of our children from their families within the communities? I mean, there's cases now where families are working and the workers are going in and saying you don't spend enough time with your families, they're getting in trouble in school, and now they're taking our children away because families are working. This is another thing that has come to our table now, and it's totally unfair. When we see the system today and how it's working, we hear from workers. I have heard from one worker that I'm hoping to get an affidavit from, who actually told a parent You've done everything that the system has required you to do, and you've maintained the fact that you are a sober person, an individual that could be a very good parent and a respected family member. However, the worker went on to say, I don't know what you did to get these people angry, but as I can see it right now, you are never going to get your children back. So we need to go into the system. We need to look at it. We need to have all the players at the table to look at these things and find out where justice is not denied, where justice can be prevailed, and have these children start going home to their people. I mean, we have more children in care now than we did in what residential school did to our people.
We're going to have an issue with the microphones because that wasn't on mic for most of us. So could we somehow have like you either sort of in the middle of the microphones when you're talking so that the ones at the end here can over here? That's great, thank you. So the ones who can't use it.
Were you able to get my stuff, Louise?
Yes, it was very clear. It was very clear.